Alright, like I mentioned in the last video, I was going to a therapist at this time. This is part 3, by the way, so if you've missed the other 2, go back and watch them. Part 3 of my journey and why this is my passion. So, I was going to a therapist and I was married at the time. And so he was going with me. And since I couldn't always see what was happening, like I still to this day don't really understand like what I was doing and those types of things, but he would tell the psychiatrist, oh, she's really on edge, she'll go off when a pen drops, or she's pretty good, she's fine, and we just kept switching up my medications at that time. It was a very hard time. There is so much more that I could go into during that time in connection with my family, my sisters, my parents, my ex-husband, all those things. But maybe I'll get into those in different videos. I do want to talk about emotional and mental abuse at some point, domestic specifically, because that was happening that I didn't realize at the time. But so I didn't know, like I heard the phrase walk on ice from my family and from my ex-husband and stepsons, and I just didn't get it. I didn't understand, I didn't see it, I don't know what they were talking about. And I said that for years after my divorce, even still I'm saying it. I have no idea, I don't know. So I started, okay, so he ended up leaving me. There was a day that, sorry about my dog again. There was a day that he and his oldest son woke me up and said they were leaving and told me everything they hated about me, what was wrong with me, how I'm crazy, how ibuprofen should use or help everything. It was not good. So, yeah. So anyway, sorry. They left. During that time of my marriage, before they left, there was a time where he had told me that everyone hated me, everyone was scared of me, everyone didn't like me, and I attempted suicide at that time. So I will talk about suicide at some point and what that really means in a person. So, sorry. Like I said, in the first one, this is a lot harder. This is the harder part, because this is when it all came to a head. This is when it really hit me and affected my life. Okay, so when he left, I was like, I gotta figure out what's happening. And so I started doing research, and I started writing down everything I could about mental illness and what it does to me and how it affects me and everything, which I didn't know before, which kind of shows that my counselors weren't good counselors, because I wasn't taught. I wasn't learning what these things were. They were just trying to help me change my thinking, I guess, but not really telling me why or what was happening in my head, or telling my husband what was happening in my head. So I started doing research, and when I say I did research, I did. That was just right after my divorce. That isn't even like current stuff. Or right after he left me, I should say. So I never got a chance to tell him all this stuff. He refused. Holly, lay down. He refused to listen to any of it, hear any of it. So I never got a chance to tell him or share my thoughts about it or anything, but it was very helpful on my other relationships, like with my parents or my sisters, so that I can say, this is what's happening. I could sit down with them and explain to them what I was feeling, what was going on inside of me, that you can't see. You can't see mental illness all the time. It's not like a person going around crazy. Like, that's not what's always happening. So, sorry. So I have this bracelet that, you can't read it. It says, "Love me till I'm me again." Sorry, the reflection's really bad. There we go. Love me until I'm me again. That's my mantra, I guess, as I'm still a person. I'm still a human, and I remember the day that I felt like a person again, very distinctly. In fact, I have a picture hanging up in my kitchen of that day, when I felt like a person. But I finally, so after my divorce, I had to find a new counselor, a new psychiatrist. My new psychiatrist is amazing. Like, he doesn't just say, on a scale from 1 to 10, how are you feeling? He actually asks me, and he wants to see me. So like right now we do Zoom. He'll ask me how I'm feeling, and then he'll bring up something random like, what are you doing this weekend? Just to see if I'm getting out, or see, he doesn't counsel me. He just knows then what to prescribe. So I actually have felt stable ever since I started seeing him. Once he and I got it figured out, I've been stable. And I found out that my ex-husband had been lying to the other psychiatrist. So he was keeping me off balance. I was never going to be able to be stable with him because he kept lying. Whether I was doing good or bad, he was lying. So, it's hard to relive. But anyway, yes, I got stable. And I'm doing really well now, learning a lot of things. But unfortunately, I ended up with PTSD with the divorce. I'm in a small town. There's a lot that goes into it that I won't get into because I'm past my time, like I said. But yeah, so now I deal with PTSD as well. And again, I will get into that in a different video. It's not just veterans and military that deal with it. There's a lot of us that deal with it for other reasons. So, the last thing I'm going to end with is from the movie Moana. Once you get to know me, you'll know I'm a Disney freak. And this, as soon as I saw Moana, the end scene, it just really struck me. And so, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to be telling you what happens at the end. So, sign off now if you don't want to know. But anyway, Moana has gone trying to find Taka to restore her heart. No, Te Fiti's heart. And she has to get through Taka, who is a big lava angry monster, to get there. Well, she gets to where Te Fiti normally is and finds she's gone. And it hits her that this villain, the lava monster, is Te Fiti. Taka is Te Fiti. And unlike any other Disney movie, she actually relates to the villain. And it hits her, and so she starts walking towards Taka, and the water has to get out of the way so that Taka's coming very angry, lava, very angry coming, and Moana, I had to write it down because I love it so much. She says, "I've crossed the horizon to find you. I know your name. They have stolen the heart from inside you, but it does not define you." That's the key line for me. They've stolen the heart from inside you, but that does not define you. This is not who you are. You know who you are. And then she replaces the little heart of Te Fiti into Taka, and then she turns into Te Fiti. So, It's all about the heart, I guess, is what the thing is. And even if there's the angry monster, there's something else going on. There's something else happening. She's not just a villain. So that's my own journey, and that's why I want other people to know, because they don't get it. There's so many people that don't get it. I have been in other relationships that I can tell right away the guy's not going to get it, and he doesn't care to get it, so it doesn't last. So it's a complex thing, but it is my passion to break the stigma and let people know it's okay to go to a counselor. It's okay to see a therapist. It's okay to see a psychiatrist. In fact, I encourage it. Especially now with COVID, a lot more people are dealing with mental illness because they've been stuck at home or whatever's happening. So, and home isn't always a safe place for some of us. So, anyway, that is the end of my journey. I'm sorry this video was a little longer, but I knew I couldn't break up this part of my story. So, next time we'll start talking about each individual one.